Hello and welcome back to the Ash and Stone channel. My name is Chris, and today I'll be showing you a nice and simple conversion you can do to your spearmen to take them from an underhanded grip to the overhanded grip you might find on the Bayeux tapestry or ancient Greek pottery. I'm going to use a handful of tools. A razor saw is not essential, but if you've got one, it makes things really easy and tidy. A hobby knife. A pin vise, also not essential but handy to have. Plastic glue, and I've got some sprue goo here as well. I'll need some super glue for the base. And having a nice flat needle file is an advantage. At an absolute minimum, you'll need a knife and plastic glue. I'll be doing an Oathmark Orc today, and I'll start by gathering the pieces I'll need. A torso, left arm, right arm with spear, head, a base, and the raised right arm with a double bit axe. I'll be taking the spear hand from the spear arm and attaching it to the axe arm to get a raised arm pose similar to this guy. You can do exactly the same thing with the spear arm you've already got. It'll just give you a slightly different pose using slightly less parts, but the process will be the same. We'll need to remove the mould lines off of all the parts we're going to use, and this is easily accomplished by scraping with the edge of a knife. I like to give the bottom of the spear shaft a slight bevel, which we can use to get a better glue bond later on. Then it's time to cut things to bits. The orc wrists have either a leather bracer or metal vambrace. In the case of the bracer, we'll cut the spear hand off right at the top of the bracer. For the vambrace, we actually need to cut on the inside of this rolled edge. This position lines up really well with the leather strap on the inside, and the vambrace extends up into the hand, so if we cut off too high, we won't have enough hand left at the end. Using that rolled lip as a guide, I can place the arm on the teeth of the razor saw and cut my way through. I like cutting the wrists with the saw on its back like this, because I can get my hands nice and close to the piece, which gives me really good control, and I'm cutting with a little pressure backwards down the teeth. It cuts nice and easily. I sometimes find if you use the teeth properly, things can quickly go awry, so slow and steady is the aim of the game. We can throw that bit of arm away, we'll not be needing it now, and I give the hand a bit of a tickle up with a knife to remove any leftover bits from the saw. On this hand, we have that leftover roll from the vambrace, and I just cut off the excess to smooth the back of the hand out. We're going to need to swap the spear head out too, so a quick pass down the razor saw will separate that from the shaft. Again, those cut edges are given a quick tickle up with the knife. Though not strictly necessary, I give the end of the spear head, the socket if you will, a little divot with a pin vise. This isn't so large the spear head will slide onto the shaft, but just enough that the spear head will cup the beveled shaft a little, slightly increasing the surface area that is glued, resulting in a stronger bond. Then I cut the axe hand off the axe arm, using much the same process as earlier, the only difference being that because I want the spear to angle down on this model, I cut on the outside edge of the vambrace rather than on the inside roll to get an angled face to glue to. The Oathmark minis are really well set up for weapon swaps. Because almost all of the models have a bracer or vambrace around the forearm, which acts as an excellent guide for cutting, and also helps to hide the join when you glue things back together. Simply following this process to swap a sword hand with an axe hand is a great way to add extra variety throughout your units. I like to use the razor saw for this because it gives you a nice, thin, flat cut that does not distort the plastic. You can absolutely use a knife, I just find the razor saw gives a better result. With everything cut up and cleaned, I use a bit of plastic cement to assemble. I'm using Tamiya Extra Thin. It's very liquid and a little goes a long way, so if you're used to the thicker stuff, be careful. If you smear it where you don't want it, you can easily press fingerprints into the surface of the model and make a heck of a mess. But if you're careful with it, it's excellent stuff. A little dab of this is sufficient to attach the spear arm where I want it. I press it in place and give it a couple of seconds to tack on, and when I'm happy with the positioning, I apply a little more in a spot along the join to lock it in place. Tamiya Extra Thin is fantastic in that a tiny drop on the join uses a capillary action to flow throughout the entirety of that joint between pieces, giving you a really strong and precise bond. The shield arm gets glued on in exactly the same way. In order to get the spear hand sitting in the position I want, I offer it up to the model to get an idea of the angle I'll need to achieve, then use a needle file to file in the appropriate angle. You can do this with a knife. I just like the gradual and precise nature of the file. You can make small adjustments easily and you get a nice flat surface for your join. With a knife it's very easy to take too much away, and so I like the file. When I'm done, I give the ragged edge a clean up with a knife and check the fit on the model. There is going to be a little gap on the top of the wrist because of the fairly severe angle the spear is going to be held at, so I use sprue goo to attach it. Sprue goo is a mix of Tamiya Extra Thin cement and chopped up bits of the sprue or frame that the models come on. This creates a plastic paste which can be great for filling gaps as it essentially dries into plastic, just like the miniature's made of. It can be a bit messy to work with, but it's easily tidied up when dry, just like removing a mould line or a bit of flash. So I blob a bit of that onto the wrist stump, and, making sure I get the spear around the right way, press the spear hand into place, squeezing the sprue goo into the gap I want filled. I'm going to do the same to attach the spear head, mainly because I've already got the sprue goo out. I would normally use Extra Thin by itself, as the sprue goo can be horrible messy stuff, and it does not tack the surfaces together as quickly as the Extra Thin will. But hey, I've already got it open here ready to go. I take a bit of time to make sure the spear head is aligned correctly, as I want it to be nice and straight. It's about this time I cursed the shortcut. Should have just used the Extra Thin. Never mind. The head is attached in the normal fashion, bit of glue to tack it, then a spot of Extra Thin to make sure the bond is complete. Now that the sprue goo has set up a little, I give the spearhead and the hand a little Extra Thin to secure those bonds as well. Now that we have the pose sorted, we can secure the model to the base with a little superglue. This is one of my 3D printed recessed bases, made to accommodate the puddle around the figure's feet. The gap between the puddle and rim gets filled up with a little inexpensive wood filler to flatten the top. If you have a 3D printer, you can grab the files for free from the mini hoarder link down in the description. And that's the model done and painted up. You can see how I do that in my Orc Infantry painting guide. There will be a link in the usual places. These poses add a very cool and dynamic element to the unit, a little bit different from those holding the spears at rest. And the process is easily applied to other models as well, such as what I've done with the Revenants, although their hands were drilled to accept skeleton spears. So I hope that's been helpful. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you next time. Cheers!